Well, today we've got a special treat, and it's kind of a continuation from last week. We're talking about the theme, and the reason we did this was because we did a survey and found out what people struggled with the most when it came to transitioning to a healthy, fit, vegan lifestyle. And one of the top things was, hey, Empowered Vegan Lifers, Ella here, and today we have a special guest host. Welcome, Tammy.
Hi, Ella. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. For those of you who don't know Tammy, she is a certified vegan life coach with Vegan Life Coach Academy and Sexy Fit Vegan. And we're so lucky to have her. And I'm so glad you could be on today, Tammy.
You're so sweet. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, what are you celebrating today?
Ooh, what am I celebrating? Well, I am celebrating getting ready to head out on kind of a hiatus for myself. I've, in recent years, really worked on prioritizing some me time. So once or twice a year, I will take off to, we're going to Vegas for a couple days, and I'm staying a little bit extra just for myself so that I can catch up on work, but really kind of decompress and kind of figure out where I want to go from this point forward for the rest of the year and take some time for myself. So I'm really excited.
So I'm picturing you out there taking your time for yourself at the blackjack table, drinking whiskey, throwing them down. Is that what you're going to be doing?
Absolutely not. Actually, we have a condo that's quite a ways away from the strip, and it has no Wi-Fi. It doesn't have TV. So no, I don't go anywhere near the strip. I pretty much stay holed up in the condo and just relaxing, chilling out. Yeah.
That sounds so wonderful. And I remember when you were way back in the day, when you were actually going through the Plant Empowered coaching program, and you talked about doing that for yourself once or twice a year. And I just remember thinking how wonderful that is. And you've got the most beautiful family and a fantastic family, but that doesn't mean that you can't benefit from that time alone.
Yeah, I think as women and moms really struggle with this, is really making that time for yourself without feeling guilty about it. And I've just really worked on understanding that that's important to me. And the more I can do that for myself, the better mom I am, the better wife, just the better I feel in general. So I really prioritize that and make it kind of a sacred time for myself.
I love that. We can all learn from that. Well,
yes,
I'm taking a trip too.
Yeah, where are you going?
Yes, I am so excited. I leave tomorrow. I'm going to Charlottesville, Virginia, which doesn't sound so exciting, I realize. However, it is the city that we are building the Hogs and Kisses Farm Sanctuary.
Yes, how exciting.
Yes, so I get to go up and meet the president of our 501c3, Anne, who happens to be one of my best friends in the world for 15 years. She's the president, I'm the vice president on the board, and we're gonna go out and visit the land that we've picked out for this sanctuary. Some of you know from listening to episode, I believe 3, when I had Anne on, that we have some pigs that are just waiting for us to build this sanctuary.
Yes.
Which is a cool story too, because these pigs were actually they were meant to go to slaughter on a small family farm, and the owners, especially the wife, apparently kind of fell in love with the pigs and couldn't do it. So they said, we want to find them a sanctuary. Unfortunately, with COVID, sanctuaries are really struggling with donations and being able to handle animals. So they couldn't find anybody to take them. So we said, well, you know what, let's raise the money and donate it to sponsor them, to feed them and keep them happy and well at the home of the farmers until we can actually get our sanctuary up and running. And if we can find them a home before that, of course they will go. But in the meantime, they're well cared for, they're loved, they're getting their food and their vet visits taken care of. And we know all their names, we're getting to know their personalities, and I'm just so excited, Tammy. I can't.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine how exciting that is. And pigs, I love pigs so much. I just feel like a kindred spirit to pigs.
Right?
They are just the best.
Okay, and I have to tell you a little funny story. So I've been in Miami now for 18 years. So I'm a Miami girl.
Mhm.
Anne is a Miami girl too. She was here for, I think, 17 years. So two Miami girls, never working on a farm before, never have any real experience taking care of farm animals. We are doing this thing and we're doing it from scratch, and we have to learn everything from the ground up. And I just had to order some overalls.
Of course you did.
So I got some short overalls and I got some long overalls, and I got them in the mail yesterday, and they actually fit. And Anne got us some boots with our Hogs and Kisses logo on them.
Oh my
So we're going to
gosh.
be all in our overall gear, and I'm so excited. We're going to do some filming while we're up there, so we can start to put together some video for the website, and another surprise, which I can't get into now. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. I felt so silly. I'm trying on my overalls that I ordered, and
You're
I'm so
embracing the
excited.
whole experience. I love it.
I so am. I just can't wait to like roll in the mud and just get dirty. And I'm even looking forward to like cleaning up poop. I'm not even gonna
Mhm.
lie, because
I kind of can get that. It's stepping away from that hustle and bustle of Miami and,
mhm,
out to nature and doing something that has such beautiful purpose. So that's so exciting.
it is. And honestly, this is what fills my heart, and what
Mhm.
sets my soul on fire is the animals. And most people, a lot of listeners, know that my story, and that's the base of everything I do. So to be able to have this kind of come full circle for my one of my best friends in the world, who started out not vegan, who went vegan while we were living together, or living in the same city, and now she's starting this sanctuary and I get to be involved. It's like a dream come true. It really is.
I'm so happy for you. You have to you have to post pictures of you guys in those overalls.
I absolutely will. You know I will be doing that.
I
Oh,
can't
it's going
wait.
to be so fun. Awesome. Well, today we've got a special treat, and it's kind of a continuation from last week. We're talking about the theme, and the reason we did this was because we did a survey and found out what people struggled with the most when it came to transitioning to a healthy, fit, vegan lifestyle. And one of the top things was that people's family wasn't on board, and how hard that was, especially for someone, in that process of transitioning, especially when you've got a family and kids and a significant other who just is not really up for doing it with you. What what was your experience, Tammy? Like, just in a nutshell.
My experience was very different, actually. My family, my husband has always been incredibly supportive, and my process has been a long journey. I started, gradually letting things go, and then, in the last couple of years, been completely vegan. But along the way, he's a meat eater. But he's always been super supportive. Never been any judgment. There's a very nice balance in our family. We have two vegans, we have a vegetarian, we have a meat eater, and then my external family also has been very supportive. We have people who are whole food plant-based, we have meat eaters in our family. So our gatherings are always potluck, bring your own, and we don't judge, we just move on to other topics. It's not always about, the food and trying to judge each other. So I feel very grateful, but I know a lot of people struggle heavily when they don't have that kind of support.
Oh, so true. And I'm so happy for you to have that kind of experience that not many people get to have. And
Yes.
no wonder. I mean, your blog and your podcast, Married and Naked, I just adore. And you've got so many helpful tips and strategies for people to really, really embrace and improve on their lives and marriages. So thank you for doing that too.
Thank you.
So today, though, we're going to have Stephanie actually walk us through 10 transition tips that will save your relationships. And this comes from a training. We do lots of mindset coaching and a lot of support like this as part of Vegan Life Coach Academy, which happens to be opening its doors temporarily, just for a very short period of time. And actually, when this comes out, it will be the first day that we are opening the doors to Vegan Life Coach Academy. I just realized that recording this right now. We're opening the doors for 4 days, and then they'll be closed again for months. So this is your opportunity, you guys. I think so many listeners are already a part of our Empowered Vegan Life group. If you're not part of that Facebook group, please join us. We're running a challenge in there right now. We do challenges regularly, tons of support, totally free. And from there, you can learn also more about, and we'll put it in the show notes, our Vegan Life Coach Academy, and just how special a place that is. All the amazing support, the amazing people in there, the group coaching, the education, the training you receive, the weekly themes, the meal plans. You get a weekly meal plan. You have live fitness and yoga classes, recorded fitness and yoga classes. It's kind of got all the tools that you need, and it makes it easy, all in one place, one-stop shop for transitioning to the healthiest vegan lifestyle, and also a meaningful life, a purposeful life. We're not just about, losing weight, which happens to be a side effect, but that's not what we're about in its entirety. Mm-hmm. We are so much more. We're so much more than that. But that is a part. So I know a lot of people want to lose weight too. That's no lie. So, all right. That being said, we'll put those links in the show notes. Tammy, thank you so much for being here for this intro.
Thank you, Ella.
And we'll get right to the training right now.
That I've done in preparing for today and looking at all of this, I think that these stages are really something very common for all of us. And so based on these stages, I have 10 tips for transitioning and keeping your outside relationships intact. And if you're interested in delving into this a little bit more, these 10 tips I've gleaned from my own living, but also from the minimalistvegan.com. It's a wonderful blog about her transitioning with her family and really adopting a vegan lifestyle and how that has really changed her family and continues to change as she's still in the midst of transition with her family, as I am. And the other one that I just really love is the nomadicvegan.com. It's a wonderful blog, and she's a lot younger than I am, but really I love the way that she talks about her adventures around the world, but she has some really, really great tips about transitioning with others along the way too. So tip number 1, I say define your boundaries. Once I committed to veganism, I decided I was no longer going to buy or cook meat. That was kind of my first phase with my family. I wasn't going to spend my money on goods that weren't vegan, and we were going to use up the ones that I had already purchased. And we're going to use them out, and then we're going to replace them with vegan purchases with my money. Now, I have not I've put that boundary for myself and for my family. My husband and I have separate finances, and I have not put that boundary on him. If this is things that he wants to do, then, that's something that he can do. And I've been very polite and very firm with my own boundaries, but allowing others in my life to make their own choices. So secondly, my second tip is talk about it and answer questions. I've decided to use a lot of I statements because that means I'm taking responsibility for my choices and my choices alone. In theory, people who love each other know how to talk about their feelings and beliefs in an open and honest way. In practice, embracing a vegan life can come across as such a radical change, and communication can really break down. Talking about veganism can challenge the way people see themselves as ethical, whole, compassionate human beings. And, I plan ahead for these moments. I suggest you plan ahead for those moments when you're going to be asked questions, and begin answering questions in a way that are succinct and quick and simple. And, I think, why do I advise this caution? Well, we don't have the best reputation As I stated before, I probably was the poster child in my previous attempts for being that angry vegan. And so I think that, no matter your reasons for going vegan, if at some point they're asking questions, they're going to make comparisons to themselves. They'll, by keeping the initial questions and answers succinct and simple, we can come across as being very judgy, even when we don't mean it. And people don't like feeling judged. No one wants to feel less environmentally conscious or unhealthy or less concerned for the welfare of animals. People don't like to feel that way. And yet, when their choices don't necessarily align with ours and our values, those are feelings that can come up. And so by using the I statements, and these short initial conversations, what I'm doing is I'm playing the long game with the people that I love and the people that I'm closest to. And that way, they're more open and ready to having the next conversation and the next conversation, and really being able to delve into the philosophies and the reasons and the values that I'm embracing. So tip number 3, have a sense of humor. We will be the victims of malicious jabs, but generally the people in our lives are really just poking fun at us. If this isn't the case, then maybe these individuals are just too headstrong and oblivious, and they just aren't worth the work. And I've had a few relationships that I've really had to decide whether or not they were even good for me through, going through this process with people. And some people I've decided aren't. But I'm really talking about those people that you have strong connections with. I'm completely okay with my children making fun of me. I have 2 teenagers. How can I not be okay with it? I love when my daughter's biggest complaint to her friends is that I'm vegan. They get miles of jokes out of that for whatever reason. And I love just to shoot back to them, well, you love my salsa and my guacamole. Nobody leaves my house hungry, and you're all eating vegan. And so I like that banter, and that comes from not taking things so seriously all the time. When a coworker, when I had first talked about these things with my coworkers, and interestingly enough, I actually let my coworkers know that I was embracing a vegan life prior to my family. And because I think those were close relationships that I was willing to discuss this with them without a whole lot of fear. But, one of my coworkers leaned over when we were out for lunch one day and said, bacon. And when he took a bite of his double heart attack bacon burger, and I sniffed at him, and I put asparagus up in his face, and I said, asparagus. And we all get a laugh out of that. So, I love to talk about my vegan fails with my family, because I think that's completely me, and it really takes a lot of edge off of things. I've had a lot of failures in the kitchen because I like to wing it. I wing most of my life, and the kitchen is no different. And because I'm able to laugh at myself and really bunk that stereotype of the angry, raging vegan, I think that things become easier for my family and for my relationships. So tip number 4, get educated about nutrition for yourself and your kids. And, you are definitely in the right place for this. The program was the foundation for my nutritional metamorphosis for my family. Another great resource is Dr. Greger's nutritionfacts.org. It has the answer to every question I've ever had or thought of. Ella's cookbook is a family favorite. My girls love making the desserts. If you haven't checked out Dina Burton's Plant Powered Families cookbook, I definitely recommend picking that up too. It's a great cookbook with kid-approved dishes that just pack a nutritional punch. I think that getting educated about nutrition is not only good for you, it's good for your kids, and it's good for that mom and dad guilt. That really is, if I know that what I'm putting in front of my kids is nutritionally sound, and I know that without a shadow of a doubt, that mom guilt cannot creep in. And if it does, I can challenge it at every level. So tip number 5, I say keep it simple. If you are cooking for a family, choose ingredients that they recognize and that they love. You can get fancy when they get curious. With my family, I started with breakfast smoothies. Everyone gets a smoothie for breakfast. Our schedules are crazy, and if you have kiddos, your schedule's crazy too. And so we do a lot of smoothies in the evening too, with just addition of quick fixes for dinner time. My son's favorite meal, my son's an athlete, he's a competitive ball player, and his favorite meal is a smoothie with chocolate protein powder, peanut butter, spinach, and a banana with a pita pizza with marinara, veggie cheese, bell peppers, and jalapenos. And he asks for this every single game night. It is simple, it is fast, and he says it keeps him full and it keeps him focused. Hey, I can't mess with his pre-game rituals. And so really keep things simple in the kitchen, particularly when you're first transitioning to this. Tip number 6, stop preparing 2 completely different meals. You are in a restaurant. I was not a restaurant. I am not a restaurant. So I say, and this for obviously my partner who is vegan at home now, but certainly didn't start that way. And so I started preparing one dish. It was always the vegan main dish, and I was okay with them adding animal protein to the side themselves. And if that was the way it needed to be, so be it. We were on our way. But I stopped saying I was going to prepare what everybody's dish was. I wasn't a short order cook, and I would, suggest streamlining that for you too. Definitely depending on where your boundaries are and depending on what your transition are, you may not allow animal protein into your home anymore. And, we have transitioned to that point because for me, perfection couldn't be the goal. I really was excited to see progress and that we didn't stay stuck there, that now our home is completely vegan. But it took a long time. It took a long time to get there. And this one, I think, also goes back to tip number 3, but tip number 7, veganizing your favorites might backfire completely. My family and friends love my vegan sloppy joes, and that has really been my only win with veganizing our favorites. I think that this goes back to really having a sense of humor. I would really suggest exploring new dishes with very familiar flavors. For example, Asian food. My family loves Asian dishes, and so we do a lot of stir fries. And in the beginning, we did a lot of stir fries and noodles that were vegan because they really liked those flavor profiles. We also love Mexican dishes. My husband is Mexican, and so I would do things, Mexican can be very easy to veganize. I tried to do some of our favorites, didn't work in my favor. I just for an example of every Christmas, my family is Swedish and my husband is Mexican. And so we do a fiesta Yule board. And basically that is just a buffet of Swedish favorites and with some Mexican dishes thrown in. So my first Christmas, I hosted the Fiesta Yule board, as I do every Christmas, really a week before Christmas, so that all of my family can come. And I had told them, you can bring dishes that you enjoy, but I'll be cooking vegan dishes. So, the vegan tamales are delicious and the refried beans were delicious. I made some pozole that was vegan. That was delicious too. My husband at that point was a little skeptical, but he enjoyed it. But I attempted to veganize Swedish meatballs. And this was definitely an epic fail. That is a moment in my life that I will never, ever live down in my family's history. Not ever, ever. I will never, I will always be the failed Swedish chef. And, if you if you have a moment like this, I say revert back to tip number 3. Use the humor, own it. My sister-in-law always says she's going to make me an apron that says, I'm a Swedish vegan, but I lost my balls. And I definitely did that, trying to veganize that favorite dish. So I would definitely suggest looking at the dishes and then knowing that veganizing your favorites might backfire for your family. So tip number 8, honor other people's gestures and be flexible without compromising your values. Be appreciative of the steps that people take that might help you feel included and comfortable. My mom made a quinoa salad for Easter, and it was terrible, and I ate it because I was honoring her gesture. My best friend was so proud of a salad, but she had put feta on it. And so I did my best to pick the feta out and take the bites and educate her later because I wanted to honor her gesture. I'm not ever suggesting that you compromise your values, but I think there's a way to absolutely stick to your values and not compromise and honor people in their efforts. If it's a dish that they've gone through the trouble of making that isn't the most nutritious choice, but it still fits with your values, I say eat it with a smile and just pack in the spinach later. Whenever I'm asked to an event and the host or hostess shows any hesitations about what they consider to be my restrictions, I make a really big deal out of feeling honored that they were so sensitive to my life choices, and I tell them how much I love to cook and offer to bring whatever they want me to bring. And I have to tell you, this gesture has never failed me. Sometimes they take me up on my help and say, hey, yeah, bring whatever you like. And sometimes they ask me just to provide them with a recipe, a favorite vegan recipe that they want to try out and put on their table. And this has gone a long way to connecting me back to those social connections with my friends and everyone feeling like it's okay to have me along, even though I may not eat the same way that they do. Tip number 8, I say connect with other vegan families. My area has a great Facebook community, and we have meetups. And connecting with others of like mind and beliefs really helps support me, will help support you in yours. And, not only do we network and we are able to form connections outside of social media, but also it's just good to connect with people in your area that have the same beliefs so that you can support each other and form a great social circle around those beliefs too. So, and then finally, I say in your family, and particularly with your children, promote vegan role models. If you have kids, I think it's important to introduce them to people that they can look up to in all aspects of their lives. Ella is that for my 2 girls. My 12-year-old Alexandra is struggling. She's hit puberty. She's hit it a little early and hit it hard. And she's struggling with those body image and finding her place. She's an MMA champ and she's a super athlete. And Ella's story and the way Ella takes care of her body and health are something that Alex really relates to and aspires to. My son's a baseball player, and he's really taken notice of the 6'6", 300-pound Yankees pitcher, CC Sabathiah, and he's announced that he has maximized his athletic ability by going vegan. And I think this is a wonderful role model for my son. My son's also super interested in vegan zombie guys on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. John and Chris, because of their love of the horror genre and Jack's really into that, and he likes really iconic stuff right now. So he likes the or really ironic stuff right now. He likes the irony of vegan zombies, and he really embraces that. And so, and I love that they promote their values. So those are my 10 tips. I hope they're useful for you. Just in kind of wrapping up, I would say take a stance of confidence and humility with the ones that you love, and really control your response. When you can't control what's happening around you, control that response. Don't second guess yourself, but also take an honest account of where you are in your own journey and where your loved ones might be in theirs. Accept where you're powerless and challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening, because that's really where your power is in your own response to what's going on around you. So those are kind of my 10 tips for really successfully transitioning and maintaining relationships and really navigating that rough terrain of family and friends.
And there you have it. Powerful strategies, you guys. I hope you took notes. These strategies work. They just do. So we're going to wrap it up there today. Again, if you love this podcast, if you love what you're hearing, share it. Share it with your friends and your family, especially this one. This is a really good one to share. And leave us a review if you like what you hear. Until next time.